Well, while I'm waiting on some parts from IPD, I'm doing a little fine details in my engine work. I've decided to do a black valve cover instead of the red, just to be a little different than I usually am. But I just finished the manifold. These used to be silver, but on the 90 plus cars, these are black. And so I figured I'd do these black and give it a nice contrast. And if you can tell, I'm going with every single bolt here, wire wheeling every single bolt to make sure everything comes out nice and pretty. Got that wire wheeled. IPD sticker in there. The front, I know that looks ugly. It's because I'm still waiting on the housing seal, and I still got to pull this intermediate shaft so I can run the distributor. So this will all get cleaned up and look nice. But for right now, I'm working on the injectors and the fuel rail. It was kind of an oxidized silver, so I did a matte black on it. And then with the injectors, that's what they're looking like. So I'm cleaning them off, and then I'm polishing the bottom bit here. So it'll come out looking something like this once it's done. Nice clean green top with a polished body. Working on this one right now. Still got a long way to go. But just doing all the little stuff that's gonna make it stand out and look way better. Got the turbo and the manifold painted black. So I'm hoping this is gonna come out looking pretty nice. But that's what I'm working with right now. We'll come back when we got some more stuff to do. It is time to put Scotia on the chopping block. Go ahead and bring her in the backyard. In other news, I got the new car looking good. And when I say looking good, I mean I've painted all the bottom trim, black like it's supposed to be, and not all the faded gray. And then I buffed the car. It looked very good until the literally next day, today. It pollen all over the cars. I washed that twice yesterday, and pollen all over it. Buffed this entire car, polished it, buffed it, I already said that, and then washed it 2 or 3 times to get all the compound off. There's still one nice big scratch left in there, but I got most of the scratches out. Got all the trim painted black again, but right now we're moving this into the backyard because the 740 is gone. I'll throw a clip of that getting dragged away here. And we'll pop her hood open, let her run one last time, and, start ripping this B230 out. So, grab my can keys here. I got too many damn keys. There it is. What are the ops doing? Nothing to see here. I already put the boost gauge in. It's not wired up, obviously. Which I'm gonna find a, I know this one's analog, but I want to find one that kind of matches the blue scheme I have going on here. This one's just a light up one. I don't really like the light up ones. It's kind of in your face. I just want something more subtle. And if I could find me a stock 240 turbo gauge, that'd be nice, because then I can hit up Dave Barton and make me a custom face for it to match these that I got from him as well. But let's get these moved into the backyard and let's get started on this car. I got a lot to do. I'm still waiting on the rest of the stuff to arrive for that engine. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting on that stuff, I can at least get this engine out and mount the accessories like the power steering, AC, alternator, and stuff like that to that engine. And I can pull the intermediate shaft out of here and then pull the intermediate shaft out of there, swap those, so I can run the gear or the distributor in the block instead of the head up here. And yeah, I just got home from the hospital 5 minutes ago. Stomach problems, IBS, who knows. But that's what you want to do, you know, right when you get home from the hospital or the emergency room, right? You just want to pull a motor out. So that's what we're doing. Let's get to it. Well, after about 30 minutes of pulling the front end off and then removing the transmission mount and the engine mounts and then the engine harness, this thing's ready to pull out. These are just getting easier and easier. There's still a couple things I got to unhook, like the fuel return and then the power steering lines. I'm going to do that when the motor's more out, so I have a little bit more room. So I think it's free to come up and out a little bit. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. Well, that's going to be wobbly, so you can sit on that board. Okay. I see that. Pull up a little more. Now I have access to the power steering lines. Yeah, so let's get the hoses disconnected and finish pulling it out. There we go. B230's out. There was a lot of shit that I just forgot to disconnect, like the ground wire, and there was one vacuum line that went there. It was the longest vacuum line on the manifold. The rear coolant hose was tying me up. Couldn't spin it to get it off. This one here. Actually, no, this one up. This one here. And then the, whatever you call this, output shaft, I believe, kept getting hung up on the firewall. And it was tugging, so it wouldn't come out. I had to like push down on it and load level it out. But it's out, and it's greasy. When I resealed this, I resealed everything except the oil pan and rear main seal and the transmission. So that's pretty much the only thing that's dirty. Oil pan's pretty gnarly. My crank seal looks good still. No leaks there. That transmission was leaking just a little bit. I mean, that's manageable. What's that, like a quart and a half a month, it looks like, over the span of a long time. Let me see. Is this... Oh, that's not gonna tell me anything. I don't know what that is. I'm trying to see if it's a AW70 or a 71 because the plate's not telling me. It says 71 on the side, but I don't think that's what that means. Because on here, I know that's a 71, but there's usually a plate and it should literally just say AW71 or 70. But I think it rubbed off on this one, so it's, can't see. Oh, there it is right there. I think 70. I don't know. It's an AW something, that's what I know. It's an A. That might be a junkyard transmission. I don't know. Why would there be writing on there? That's weird. This car did have 480-something thousand miles on it, so I wouldn't doubt it if one of these components isn't original. I think the motor is original, though. But who am I to tell? It's a 37, 38-year-old car. But it's out, so let's get the car moved back and put this on the ground, start pulling off my accessories. All I really need is power steering and AC, alternator, bolt that to this block after I clean it up, of course. And then everything else can just leave on the engine. Still need all these hoses, the rear hoses, this hose, that fan most likely. But that's about it. And I did go ahead and order some other stuff for this. I bought the STS Machining adjustable cam gear, and then I bought a new harmonic balancer because mine's a little whack. Get my crankshaft stuff out the way. So some small cracks on that side. When you get to this side, you can see how bad it actually is. So that's not going to hold a timing light very well. It's going to rotate from the inner shaft and make timing look like it's off from these marks here. But that's good. That's going to be the end of this video. You can push this one out now that this B230 is out of the car. Next, I'll probably just be cleaning this engine bay, getting that rack all cleaned up, and fine-tuning everything in here. I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do for intake, because the intake's going to go over there where the washer bottle is. I did grab the 740 coolant overflow tank in case I need it. I don't know if I'm going to have room. So I might just remove the washer bottle and relocate it somewhere else, maybe even a smaller size, go aftermarket, and just run an aftermarket pump and just relocate it somewhere else, like, who knows, I don't know, over here or in here or something. And then the 740 also had a hole in the fender for cold air to come through the fender. So I want to see, maybe this has a plug since these cars came turboed before. I don't know. I would think the 240 turbos would have a similar design. So far I don't see a plug, so I might have to cut a hole in the fender for some true cold air. I don't know how it's going to pick it up through there, but, you know, that's not for me to figure out. That's for physics to figure out. All right, enjoy it.